In 1998, the Chinese government signed 2 important international human rights conventions. In 2004, it amended its constitution to include the phrase respect and protect human rights. And this year, 2008, it has promised to promote a national human rights action plan. Unfortunately, most of this political progress has extended no further than the paper on which it is written. The political reality, which is plain to anyone to see, is that China has many laws but no rule of law. It has the constitution but no constitutional government. The ruling elite continues to cling to its authoritarian power and to fight off any move toward political change. The stultifying results are endemic official corruption and undermining of the rule of law, weak human rights, decay in public ethics, crony capitalism, growing inequality between the wealthy and the poor. Pillage of the natural environment is as well as human and historical environments, and the exacerbation of a long list of social conflict, especially in recent times, are sharpening animosity between officials and ordinary people. As those conflicts and crises grow ever more intense, and as the ruling elite continue to impunity to crush and to strip away the rights of citizens to freedom and to property and to the pursuit of happiness, we see the powerless in our society, the vulnerable groups, and the people who have been suppressed and monitored, who have suffered cruelty and even torture, and who have had no adequate avenues for their protests, no courts to hear their pleas, becoming more militant and raising the possibility of a violation conflict of the disastrous proportions. The declining of the current system has reached the point where change is no longer optional. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We turn to Jimmy Xuan-Wen.
Thank you, sir. Our fundamental principle. This is a historic moment for China, and our future hangs in the balance involving the political modernization process of the past 100 years or more. We reiterate and endorse basic universal value as follows. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We turn to Jian Lin. Mr. Lin.
Good evening. Human rights is at the core of universal human values. Freedom is at the core of universal human values. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of where to live, and freedom to strike, to demonstrate and to protest, among others, are the forms of that freedom takes. Without freedom, China will always remain far from civilized ideals. Human rights are not bestowed by a state. Every person is born with inherent rights to dignity and freedom. The government exists for the protection of the human rights of its citizens. The exercise of state power must be authorized by the people. The cessation of political disaster in China's recent history is a direct consequence of the ruling regime's disregard for human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We turn to, forgive me if I mispronounce, Piao Long Wei.
Good evening. I can speak Chinese and Korean and Japanese, but I speak English no good. Equality, the integrity, dignity, and the freedom of every person, regardless of social station, occupation, sex, economic condition, ethnicity, skin color, religion, or political belief are the same as those of any other principles of equality before the law and the equality of social, economic, cultural, civil, and political rights must be upheld. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have time for the final person who has requested the opportunity to speak within the original allocation of time. The speaker is Ong Xiao. Ms. Xiao.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Republics in which hold that power should be balanced among different branches of government and competing interests should be served. Resembles the traditional Chinese political idea of fairness in all under heaven. It allows different interest groups and social assemblies and people with a variety of cultures and beliefs to exercise democratic self-government and to deliberate in order to reach peaceful resolution of public questions and on basics of equal access to government and free and fair competition. Democracy. The most fundamental principles of democracy are the people are sovereign and the people select their government. Democracy has those characteristics. Number one, political power being with the people and the legitimacy of a regime derives from the people. Political power is exercised through choices that the people make. Number three, the holders of major official posts in governments at all levels are determined through periodic competitive elections. Number four, while honoring the will of the majority, the fundamental dignity, freedom, and the human rights of minorities are protected. In short, democracy is a modern means for achieving government truly of the people, by the people, and for the people. Constitutional rule. Constitutional is rule through the legend system and the legend regulations to implement principles that are spelled out in Constitution. It means protecting the freedom and the rights of the citizen, limiting and defining the scope of the legitimate government power, and providing the administrative apparatus necessary to serve those ends. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That completes public comment for this evening. We turn now to the consent calendar and invite a sweet motion